Welcome to Reseller Information Network. You are here for another exciting episode. We do have guests with us today. The Commonwealth Geezer joining us today, so you don't want to miss out on that. In all reality, obviously, if you don't know this guy, American Arbitrage with us today. So we are looking forward to a packed show. We're going to be looking into some things of how Carrie would give advice as far as how to get started in reselling. Some things that are being sold in the marketplace, and also a deep dive into some new ventures that we know are going on behind the scenes. So come and check that out and make sure you stick around. We have a few comments that we want to make mention of. First of all, Kristen Blakeson Game. You know, the trick for me every week is to say people's name correctly. I'm sure I did not say that, but I do appreciate you for being here. So she says, hi, guys. I'm headed to do a pickup for my first online auction. Thanks to you all. She's talking about last week's episode when we talked about how to shop online auctions and gave some tips for that. Joe Deal says, hey, guys, great show as always. Wondering, with all the route sales and citywide sales going on this summer, do you prefer the route sales or the citywide sales? What do you guys think on that?
Listen, you give me any sale, I'm ready to rock and roll. But you know, I love a good long route. You know, the more volume, the better.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That's community sales. We don't have route sales on the West Coast that I know of. I never really hear about like a long 50-mile, 100-mile sale, but in Vegas we'll have a community sale where it's mentioned that it's a community and it's just one person selling Amazon goods. It's terrible.
Yeah, we've been to those sales. We've been to those sales. It's like multi-family. It's like, yeah, you and the 3 people that live in your house. That's
exactly
what's going on. So Joe Deals had asked about that. He was also talking about AI and talking about Foxtail. I will tell you, I think Foxtail is not ready. Like I filled out their little questionnaire, said please let me know when you're ready, and nothing. Like still crickets. So we'll see. Charity Faulkner said I can see international buyers taking advantage of what we talked about last week. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. But the international sales, Cernak had an item that actually he did not have to return, even though a return was filed and he got paid. So there you go. Susan Cousins says, hi, I'm new to your channel. Wanted to know a few things. I hope you don't mind me asking. Also new to reselling and have watched many resale channels. First question, when listing, do you say as is, no refund? What do you guys think?
I do not say as is or no refund, but I do not accept returns. And I also just put an excellent vintage condition. I always put minor wear as shown in pictures so people don't think that they're buying something brand new, even though it's not listed as brand new. That's what I do.
Yeah. I put broken and picture is not the item is not the same item as pictured. That way, whatever they get, I'm going to get a complaint and a return.
Yeah. Keep expectations low, right? You're always better off.
But honestly, I mean, realistically, I think it's smart to put like you don't accept returns or whatever. I wouldn't put no returns in a title or anything or even in the I don't know. I personally wouldn't, because if somebody wants to return something, it doesn't matter what your policies are. eBay is going to force you to return
it's coming back, right?
It does stop some people from even bothering though, so it makes sense on that level.
Yeah.
I make sure that I tell them everything that I feel is wrong with it. Sometimes I downgrade my item a little more than I should, and I get good comments back. Oh, items better than pictured, items better than description, and my return is like maybe 1 on every 100 items I sell.
There you go. All right. So second question. Are there apps for checking out what's sold and how much I sold it for?
Yes.
I see resellers scanning items, looking things up. Yeah. You know, the big 2, what? eBay, Google Image.
Yeah.
Both of those work for you. So, third question. the Jordan basketball shirt and shorts. What did they go for? Can I send you pictures of them? I have not responded to this comment yet, but I will make sure that she sends it.
$35 is your answer.
Yeah.
$35.
I would be willing to pay $35 if you want to see.
I don't know what they are. I haven't seen. Did they send you a picture?
No, they haven't sent me anything.
Wow.
So she said she just wanted us to know that how awesome the channel is. Love the content. Thanks for making these videos. Thank you, Susan, for joining us. As always, if you have comments or questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat at any point. But hey, we're going to go ahead and jump into Carrie's got some 101 for you guys. So. That's
this is where I tell you guys about how to resell. What do I do here?
Yeah, you know that point. I know
okay,
you
guys.
don't get any progress on trash to cash, but well.
Here we go, guys. If you're a brand new reseller and you're watching the Reseller Information Network, just remember everything is on this channel is 10 to 15 years outdated. A lot of the advice is I don't know if half these guys have computers or cellular phones. But you know, if you ever need anything, you could always you know, Tim's got a beeper, I think, on him at all times. Since what, 93? I think you still have that beeper.
Yeah.
But honestly,
Sure
I don't know what they just threw me on the screen. But this is my thought on reselling. If you're new to reselling, this is what you guys need to do. You need to watch as many quality YouTube videos as possible. That's what I did when I started. I started like in 2011, and there were no quality videos. But you can really get an education. You can find the kind of stuff that you like, the kind of stuff that you dig. You can get into the drama. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of people who hate each other in this space, and I think we know who hates who. And I think they talk. I haven't watched this show, but I think it's mostly about that drama. So I hope that you guys just get into it. Get into the community. Ask questions like you're asking about how much your stuff's worth when you could easily just look it up on eBay. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm just kidding. I love you all. It's probably $35 is what I priced that at, by the way.
Yeah. The real resellers of YouTube. That's what
I don't know. There needs to be a good drama reseller podcast though that just really gets into it. You know what I mean? Just really gets into the, you know, because OBX. I know you have a lot of beefs with a lot of people. I hear it through the grapevine. Yeah, I know that you. I'm not gonna say it, but I know that you and Commonwealth Picker have gotten in several fist fights, and he's so small. It's not fair for you to do that to him, okay? You know you're going to crush him. He's a tiny, frail old man. You're muscular, handsome, taller, and he's short, ugly, smells weird, and you're beating him up. It's not fair. He does smell. Have we talked about how Kevin smells, by the way? If you guys have never met Kevin in person, have you guys ever been to like San Francisco and had one of those clam chowder bowls, but like in the bread bowl? Have you ever seen that? Yeah, like it doesn't. It's that smells amazing. But if you go to the wharf where they have all the seals and stuff just fighting with each other, that's kind of more the smell. That it's kind of like it's a breezy. It's a kind of I don't know how to explain it. It's gamey. Would be a word, gamey? What am I doing? Guys, we got to have a serious conversation.
It might be all the
animals.
animals. It might be all the animals, right? Like it might be...
the wildlife, yes.
Kevin's wonderful, and there is no beef. I'm joking because these guys are actually professional resellers that don't do any of this stuff. And it's all ruse, and I'm sorry. Are we going to cut all this, hopefully?
No,
we just leave it.
There's no editing done. Okay. I rely on Dave to edit like 2 of the 3 hours of the podcast out. That helps a lot.
Yeah, we're usually one take. We're one take guys.
One take. I love it.
And where can people find you? What you're saying the podcast? What's a podcast?
Oh, podcast. Where they can find me? Impulsive. Yeah. Impulsive with Jake Paul. Just go on youtube.com, click up Impulsive. You can get, I think you get 8% off Prime energy drink. We got a new flavor. It's purple that's coming out next week.
There you go. There you go. Just make sure
Guys,
you shout us
I'm
out
not
on
here to
comment.
use you for a plug. I'm here to just hang out with my buddies. I don't need people to come watch my stuff. I've already got dozens of people who do that already, and they all regret it.
Hey, so let's look up what you got in this category. How about this? So
Okay, here's what is trending. Okay,
What are you
since
selling
I
right
have
now the most of?
the most, well, I sell sports cards is what I sell the most of by far. But it's also because I have like 5,500 sports card listings and like maybe a couple hundred other things. But in sports cards, I mean, I love sports cards because it's the modern day kind of, it's like a stock market. But if I don't know how to explain it, I'm not really speculating, meaning I'm not buying cards and expecting them to go up in value. But what I am doing is going to places where people aren't updating their prices a lot on sports cards. So like the dollar boxes, a lot of times people will just have tons of single cards they're selling at a card shop or a card show. And somebody like, for example, in this last playoff series with the Heat, Caleb Martin, he was kind of a nobody or a very lower end role player, at least in the sports card market. People weren't talking about him that much. And I'm looking for his cards. I found a decent card of his in a dollar bin that, it's worth 10 or 15 bucks. Most of the time, that's what you're going to find, $5, $10, $15 cards. But I look a lot. It's what I enjoy. It's therapeutic. But sports cards are always trending. They're always one of the top selling items on eBay at all times. They're very, you got to be into it though. It's kind of like I don't know, like Tupperware or Vaseline glass Murano. Like if you really want to get into it, there's a ton of money to be made. But if you casually do it, you could very easily get burned.
A ton of money to be lost. Like if you are casual, for sure. So, for you, Carrie, is it something you've always like looked for sports cards? Has that always been your thing, or
Yeah.
just?
I've been selling sports cards since before I was an eBay seller on eBay. That's what I first sold on eBay before I started officially being full time. I would when I was in college, I would go on eBay and look at auctions of sports cards, and I would buy ones that I thought were going too cheap, and then I would create these mega lots and I would sell them. And I don't even know why I did it, because I'd start the lots out at $1 and I spent like maybe 100. And I ended up making money, I think, on every lot I made. But I wasn't really doing it for money. I don't know how to I don't know why I did it, but I did it because I really enjoyed it. I didn't realize I was a picker at that point, because it's the same feeling I get now. I love the hunt, and all the joy of collecting or whatever comes from finding it. Same with like going to garage sales and finding like a cool video game or some toys. All that joy is from the finding. And then once I found it, I don't really want to look at it. I don't want to put it on a shelf. I mean, I just don't really care about that stuff at this point. So I just sell it. But all the joy comes from the finding of it for me.
Didn't you
That's how it is
found
for me.
something recently, right? Like a toy? I think I saw a short or something like that. You found some.
Oh yeah,
crazy
I found some
$700
Furbies. This weekend we found like 5 new in the package 1998 Furbies. We posted them all. We've already sold a couple for like 30, 40 bucks a piece. But yeah, no, I mean that stuff's like fairly obvious. Even if you're new to reselling, you see an old toy that's still new in the package. And I'm not against this, and I don't think anybody should. Look it up on your phone while you're at the garage sale. Just be conspicuous about it. I mean, it's easy for me because I've already got a camera on. So if I'm on my phone at the same time, it's the less awkward of the two things I'm doing at this person's garage sale. So if you want to know if something's worth something, then I would just look it up when you're at the yard sale. But a good rule of thumb is if it's a toy that's older, we're all, in our 40s, 30s, 40s, or Leroy 70s. We all, sorry, I love you, Leroy. I didn't mean that. I take it back. American Arbitrage Tools, though. He's gone. No, but like toys that we had when we were kids. If you ever see any stuff like that, in the box, it's worth looking up, and almost always worth picking up, unless they're asking, eBay or retail prices, which you can figure out by looking it up on your phone.
Is there something else that you guys are focusing on, selling like specifically right now outside of the cards, like between you and Lady Arbitrage?
Well, Dawn loves her plushes. A lot of the plush though goes through Whatnot. It's a fairly popular little kind of mini subcategory that I don't know to what degree, you know, it's just resellers like to sell it, so there's a lot of those auctions available and people have gotten into it. I don't know what degree it's been created, but it's a fairly popular little category. So we look for plushes, but we also find a lot of plushes that are worth, selling singularly on eBay. It's funny, man. Plushes is a cool category because it's so often undervalued at yard sales and thrift stores, and there's a ton of demand for plushes. It's just, is it a $3 plush? Because you could sell almost any Disney plush for $2, $3, and free shipping or with a little bit of shipping on top. But obviously, you're not going to make any money. So you got to figure out which ones are valuable. But with Whatnot, it allows us to, sell a ton of plushes at once to a couple people, and they save on the shipping. Did you guys hear about the Whatnot shipping changes?
Yes.
Yeah, Dave. Oh, Eric, do the little thing. Cut it in.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude, that was awesome, man. That's trance music. I love it. That was cutting edge, man. No, Whatnot changed their shipping, so now it basically will. Before it was like you buy one item and it's $4, $8, $10, and then each additional item was $2, $4, whatever it was, depending on the weight. Now you could, from what I understand, you could ship up to 70 pounds for $8 and something cents, which is insane.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
So
that's what I read. I didn't.
They're doing like this bundle shipping, so it's like a combination of the old style of shipping and this new thing where it's like if you, I guess I think it was anything up to 5 pounds, I believe, is like $7, and then after that, it's like another bracket, but like you can like it's a lot more weight that you can bundle in without getting charged shipping every single time. And I would imagine that it probably helps Whatnot too in the back end because they're probably paying a lesser transaction, like a processing fee to the payment companies by lessening the amount per transaction that gets processed every time that somebody buys something on Whatnot. So it's very new. I think it just got released like within the last week or so. So I have only been selling sports cards, but I am part of the 1 year anniversary of the estate sale category extravaganza event, which is in like the beginning of July. So I'm going to be interested to see how much it, progresses and what changes they make between now and then, because obviously I'll be selling glass and stuff like that in that sale. So I think that's really what the category is going to help it. It's interesting how Whatnot does it because like with the last shipping change, it kind of, with cards, it's always been pretty simple. But even with the last shipping change, it kind of helped cards a little bit. I think they're really trying to improve the other categories where they're selling larger items to kind of help people out. Because I know for a fact, like you could ship things a lot cheaper if we were shipping them ourselves to a certain extent. But now I think Whatnot's realizing that if it encourages people to buy more. So everybody's winning. People are spending less money on shipping. The sellers are making more money, and in turn, Whatnot's making more money. So it's going to be interesting to see how it progresses.
There we go. All
Breaking news.
Breaking.
We're gonna go ahead and dive into the deep dive with Mr. American Arbitrage. Usually, the part of the
there he is.
Kind of want to get the backstory to a degree. Obviously, you can exclude anything you want to exclude and add anything you want to add. But just so basically, how did you get started in reselling? And other than what's obviously you've already told us to a degree, but then like now, so where are you at with all that? Are you still like all in reselling, or where are you at? What's going on?
So yeah, I started reselling in March or April of 2011 after I don't know if you guys knew this, but I had a very lucrative corporate job at the In-N-Out Burger as a 27-year-old. I had just graduated college and I was basically just trying to get a job that would make me a little extra money, why I was an hour late. Here's the thing about college with me. I was a good student, but I was always late to my classes. Can you guys believe that? I got so good at it. There was times where I would arrive to an hour and a half class 3 minutes before it ended. Why did I even bother at that point? It was depressing for me. It probably upset the teacher, but I still got a 3.2 or whatever I ended up with. Very, very, very illustrious. I was almost Magnum PI or whatever the heck, when you get the special sash or whatever. But
Kuma de Lao?
No, so huh?
Isn't it called Kuma de Lao?
Yeah, Kuma de Lao or something. Yeah, it was almost that. No, but I graduated from college and I was still working that job, kind of thinking about what I was going to do. I realized a degree in history and political science and Spanish. I don't know. It's not like I could go directly into surgery or whatever. I had to teach or do something with, or be in politics, which I didn't want to do, which I probably should have thought of before I got a political science degree. So I was going to go back and do some more school to teach. I wanted to be a professor. And before that happened, I was respectfully let go. I think they knew that I was just they knew what was going to happen to me. They knew I was going to be a marginally successful internet celebrity. So they wanted to get rid of me and let me fly. You know what I mean? That's what I tell myself. That's how I justify it. No, I got fired from In-N-Out because I was 55 minutes late to a 1 hour meeting, which is not good. They frown on that. In a culture of punctuality, they don't like you to miss an entire important meeting. But in my defense, I just got confused on what time it was, or I would have been. I thought I was 5 minutes early in my defense, but I was 55 minutes late. Just FYI. It was cool though. But I got along. You guys know me. I got along with everybody. So the manager who wasn't working that day wrote me afterwards. And was like, "It's cool, dude. Don't worry about it. This isn't for you, obviously." Or you'd still be here. So I started reselling at that point. I was thinking about looking for another job, and my mom. I was living at home, as most 27-year-olds do. And my mom brought me a Pokemon video game that was sealed for my little sister that she never played from the 90s. And I put it on eBay because I had done a little eBay from sports cards. And it sold. And I don't know, it was during that American Picker Storage Wars, early hype that was just sweeping the nation. And back then, I don't know if you guys were reselling back then, but all people would talk about at auctions or at the thrift store was how Storage Wars and Pawn Stars was ruining it. Just like they do now with us, or they do now with Whatnot or whatever. It's the same story, just insert different thing that's ruining reselling. It's always been something. So yeah, I started doing that and I got really into it. I opened my first store a decade ago at this point, and I got really into it. And no, I still do reselling. I have been focusing a lot more on content in the last 3 years, and the last month or two, I've been pretty obsessed with my card channel. So, but I mean, my card channel is picking, but for cards, which I think is very different than what a lot of people do in the card space. A lot of people in sports card YouTube and sports card content are going to card shows and buying a $15,000 Justin Herbert slab and making a video about it, and then 3 weeks later selling it for a loss and don't tell anybody. It's just really just about a show than it is actually, I feel, about a lot of times teaching people how to practically flip stuff like we do in general. So my whole premise of the card stuff, what I've been focusing on is picking. I'm finding cards that are worth more right now than what they're selling them for. It's arbitrage. I find a card for $1 a lot that sells for $8, sells for $12, sells for sometimes, I sold a card yesterday for $40 that I got for $1 last week. So sometimes there's some big profits just based on, knowing who's playing well on a team at the moment or whatever. And I'm very much into that.
All right, here we go. Question number 1.
Let Leroy get. Leroy get.
Oh, yeah, we'll go. Go ahead, Leroy.
I have a couple because he'll be here for a week.
Sorry, I'll go quicker. I forgot.
No, not you, Tim. Tim. Um, so a couple of things. So with your selling the cards, like say for instance, you buy a card for $1, you sell it for you sell for $8. Now with me, I sell tools. A lot of people know that. So if I buy a tool for 50 cents and I sell it for $15, I do have to clean most of those, and it's a quick clean. In a couple of minutes, it's about all I'm going to spend. With you, you don't do the cleaning perhaps, but you have to watch games or pay attention to the NHL hockey is almost over or is still going on in the finals. Now, whoever's doing good, you need to sort of keep up on that so you know what cards to go look for tomorrow. Does that seem right? Like where I would have to clean stuff, you sort of have to pay attention to what's going on in the sports world. And you're not dealing with one thing. You probably do baseball, hockey, basketball. I don't know what other cards you're getting.
Yeah, bull riding, Disney. I'll sell any kind of cards. You're right. The thing is with me, it's fairly natural because I'm, working a lot on my computer or on my phone, and I have stuff playing on the background. YouTube videos. A lot of whether it's picker videos, flipper videos, or sports card videos. I get a lot of my information about who's hot and who's not. Not really actually from watching sports. I don't watch physical games like I used to when I was younger, or even highlights like I used to. I just watch other people's videos. I watch a lot. There's and this is part of why I started doing American Arbitrage Cards. There's a lot of really, really dense videos of people going through cards on YouTube and going in depth about why they buy them. Not very well edited. People who aren't really YouTubers. And I felt like there was definitely an opportunity for somebody who could edit a little bit and make this a little bit more watchable for the average person who's not I love those in-depth channels, but not everybody wants to sit through them, and they got to present it in a way that makes it really, I think, good for people to get into. But so yeah, I just always have stuff on. I'm always listening to stuff when I'm driving. I'm listening to stuff through the audio, through the speakers. So I'm just always, that's just how I am. I get bored pretty easily. So
my last question is, I know that one of your bigger breaks was actually in TikTok.
Yeah.
And how and please don't beat me up for this. I should know this answer. Do you have a TikTok just for sports cards now? Because I've never followed it. I'm going to be honest with you. I apologize. I'm supposed to call myself.
It hurts my feelings, Leroy. It does. It does. I'm a little bit upset that you would even dare ask that. No, I do. I have a sports card one. That's how I did my main channel. I think that's how people, if you want to start reselling content or any kind of content, you should open up an Instagram, a TikTok, and a YouTube basically at the same time. Typically, it just depends. I got lucky. I opened everything on my main account 3 years ago, and my TikTok did jump up real quick at the start. It was kind of like YouTube at 2011, 2012. There wasn't a lot of people, doing that kind of stuff on TikTok at that point. So there was a demand and there was nobody filling the demand. And I feel like that's kind of like what I'm doing with sports cards in the sense of the low end card hunting, picker style videos. There's not very many people doing that. And apparently I'm surprised by the demand for it. So it's fun. But yeah, no, I'm doing TikTok. It's doing well. It's grown really fast. And so I'm doing Instagram and I'm doing YouTube. I haven't started a Pinterest account for my card channel. I've kind of been.
That's what I was going to ask.
It's probably a big mistake.
That's the wave of the future is Pinterest.
It is. No, Pinterest is. You guys, first off, in 10 years, there's two things I know about reselling. Everybody's going to be selling everything on Pinterest, period. One. Everything else is going to be out of business. Two, robots are going to do everything. AI. It's not just AI, but robots. We're going to be at thrift stores and robots will be picking against us. And they're going to be like those dog robots that Boston Technology does. They're going to be sprinting down the aisles. AI is going to be telling them, go pick up this, Goosebumps book because it's worth $7 or whatever. And then as you grab it, it'll have its like I don't know, the metal spikes that hurt. Cause I think in 10 years, it will be okay for corporations and companies to to stab you with robots to make sure that you stay in line and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. So, we'll all be in different professions.
Speaking your language or not? You speaking your language.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He
AI.
gave the demo today live. He gave the demo today live.
No, but for real, I think AI is going to, we were talking about this a little bit in the Trash to Cash. I don't know if you guys ever watched the little, it's a little podcast, little stupid, smelly podcast called Trash to Cash. We were talking about AI in our episode, and I think it's going to be huge, guys. I think there's going to be a time in like 5 to 10 years where, because I can already do it with cards. I could post a card using my Card Dealer Pro software, and it will find it. It's not perfect, but it will find it a lot of times, or give me a really quick way to put it in the system. I can upload templates to eBay with hundreds of listings. And I think, in the near future, you can get, something like like a VHS that's sealed. And maybe with minimal inputs or no inputs, it could find it on eBay and automatically list it for you. I mean, that'll totally change the game. It'll be hard to have death piles in the. There we go.
I'm doing eBay right now. AI. I got a recording right here. I'm doing my.
That Apple Pro Vision looks amazing on you, Cernak. It fits you.
Dude, I got the beta version. We're just testing it out. It's awesome. You know what I'm saying? It's awesome. I'm gonna say this for the next 25 hours. So.
But honestly, I think it's smart for people to embrace technology as it grows. It may not work out, but I've gotten nothing but, feedback from people for years to why are you wasting your time doing short form TikTok content? And I always tell people it's like, I don't know where short form video will be. Maybe TikTok will be gone or whatever, but I think it's fairly obvious based on the popularity that short form video is going to only get bigger.
Yes.
So if you know how to do it, it's going to be applicable anywhere. I mean, at this point, any site that starts letting me do short form, I've been successful on because I learned how to do it already for the most part. I'm not perfect at it, but I kind of know the basic gist of what works and what doesn't. And it's the same thing like AI. I think that whatever kind of system comes out, even though it's going to be super glitchy and it's not going to work perfect, I think the more you embrace it and try to learn it, the better off you're going to be when they actually do have the software come out that really does work well. You'll be leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else.
So Cernak got us.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Cernak got us all into, he introduced us basically into using the AI for photos and what we've been doing, and now we're all addicted to AI photo right now and utilizing it. Is there any sort of AI that you're utilizing right now?
First off, I want to learn about that AI photo thing. I don't even know what that is. But I mean, I've been using, I don't know if it's AI, but I've been using the software Card Dealer Pro for my cards, and I have like a photo scanner, a feed scanner. And then I can, upload 60, 100, 300, 1,000 cards onto this program. And it'll take, maybe, if I uploaded 1,000, it might take a half hour to input everything. But it'll, if I'm doing like mid-'80s baseball, the stuff that's not shiny and that's been around for years, it will identify every single one of those cards, 99.5% of them. And then you just go double check because occasionally there's going to be some glitches, like things that got misread. They thought Jose Canseco, but it was Jose Rio or whatever. But and then you could just basically it's just a really cool, powerful software that will identify what your cards are, and then you can have templates around how much you want to charge for each card. You can go in and manually change prices, but it allows you really realistically to list hundreds of items on eBay an hour, sports cards, and I think that's the obvious evolution. I think for reselling is taking pictures of random stuff and then inputting it in something, and then it's spitting out eBay listings for you, basically, in some form.
That's why I think the future is to where, like incremental steps where, like I sell a lot of shoes. I just take a picture, like a few pictures of a shoe, throw it, and my idea is where it's going to go is you throw it into, hey, you load up the picture and it says, boom, boom, boom. Is it this, or this? And you pick one and then, hey, then all your item specifics are like, all right, vote, already just suggesting, is it this or is this? Is this? When you get it, and it already kind of does that a little bit, but I'm saying like a full thing where it's like, instead of your eBay listing taking 5 minutes to do, maybe it can take 30 seconds to do because everything's already filled out and you're just double checking what it is. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
already
exactly
right
what I think will happen
for you.
And that's what I'm doing with the cards.
Yeah.
Is literally that I'm inputting it and then I'm just double checking to make sure things are correct, fixing errors, because it doesn't, especially if you're doing modern stuff with the sports card program, it's a little more glitchy, or not glitchy. It just doesn't recognize everything. The AI isn't perfect, but it's an amazing tool. It's totally changed my business because I went from 500 or so listings, 500 to 1,000 listings at any given time, to I think we're over 6,000 right now. Mostly cards, obviously, but I mean it's totally changed the amount of stuff I could do. And if I really buckled down and set a goal, and I could do hundreds a day, every day. I have plenty of cards, that's for sure.
So, what's the cost of that? Now, are you paying for the hardware and software in one cost? Is there a subscription? How does that work?
Yes, yes to all of that. And if you guys want to try Card Dealer Pro, I do have an affiliate link. I do.
We'll put that in the description.
Yeah. It's Arbitrage, which basically after the free trial, whatever service you choose, which starts at $9.99 for 1,000 scans, and goes all the way up to like $200 for a ton of scans. Basically, I don't know how many it is offhand. Like 10,000. I don't know. It was some big number. So, I think 1,000 scans would be perfect for most people, and then you could just buy more if you need more throughout the month. But and then honestly, you don't need a scanner. I literally was taking pictures with my phone and uploading them into Card Dealer Pro for months and months. Then I got to know the guys, and I did my whole Kevin magic, and I got myself a scanner magically. So that's one thing I learned from Kevin doing content. He's like, you don't need to buy a Rolo. You don't need to buy this stuff. Just tell people that you need one and then make content about it. And I'm like, okay. And that's worked well.
So obviously you have to enjoy, I think a lot of people don't realize this, and I think that's kind of like where people get mixed up in it. You have to enjoy making content in order to make as much content as you do.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh
and
yeah,
so
you have to.
Outside of the fact that you enjoy making and creating content, what do you think is the best benefit from making content into your overall business plan? Is it, directing, viewers to possible turning them into buyers, or is it just the financial return from, your content creation? Like, what would you rank those as far as beneficial to your overall reselling business?
I think the best benefit, which, because if I spent more time reselling stuff and posting, I would probably make the same amount of money or maybe even more than what I make right now. But I think the main benefit is now I'm in two different similar but distinct places that make me money. So I don't know, it diversifies the ways I can make money. Before, the only way, it's like a decade ago when I was doing this, the only way I could make money, as a full-timer was to buy something and sell it. That was it. Like in whatever fashion I did it, through my live auction that I had at my store, through eBay, through Bonanza, I guess you can do technically. Somebody's told me about that. And now there's a whole nother way I can make money. I literally go to the card shop, for example, lately, and then I will have my GoPro on and I will do a video going through this stuff. So I'm buying all the cards, spend $40-50. I'm pretty cheap. I will make profit on those cards selling them on eBay. 1, 2, I will make a video on that. A lot of the videos make me that $40-50 back. 3, I do a TikTok. TikTok now for minute-long videos pays you even more. So I've had videos where I bought 6-7 cards that have made me a lot more than $6 or $7 just doing the TikTok. So now there's just like all these extra ways to make money doing the stuff that literally I would do for fun. Like I would go to the card, if I was in a reseller, I would go and collect. That's the only thing I know I would collect would be cards. But now I'm just monetizing the steps, and there's a lot of people who do it on every level. Like Kevin and Dave are doing flipper videos where they're talking about Kevin's talking about what he sold and complaining about something, and Dave, I think at this point Dave just rambles for 20 minutes about whatever's on his mind. I don't think he shares any sales, but but they've monetized the lifestyle, and just giving you a very small chunk of it, and they've maximized their time. So I don't know. I like that it diversifies. Short answer is that it diversifies my income. It allows me not to just rely on the ebbs and flows of whatever's, the economy's doing at this moment.
Go ahead, Leroy.
Yeah.
So people like say myself, Tim, Cernak, Eric does a little bit more than all of us. Do you look at us and say, man, these guys like Leroy just does tools and Cernak does sneakers, and these guys are missing the boat a little bit because they're not doing the 2-3 different things that they could be doing to maximize, like you said. Like, do you look at that and say, man, like I wish, though, not saying us personally, but because we're so niched out?
Do I judge you guys aggressively? Yes, all of you,
Okay,
individually and collectively. You're being judged by me and others. No, I don't. But I think Tim had it right, like earlier when he was saying, like, beyond, like, you have to want to do this. Like, it has to be somewhat fun and enjoyable. So I would say I don't, because if it's not happening, it's for a reason. Maybe you don't want to do it. And if you don't want to do it and you're spending your time on something more productive, or for you, I think that's completely fair, and you aren't missing the boat on anything. I don't think you need to be. I think anybody who comes into this thinking I need to maximize I'm a robot, and I got to fit, I think that's not going to work for anybody. But I would encourage, Leroy, if in the back of your head you're going, I would like to try this and maybe do a little TikTok or do more YouTube or something. I think it'd be fun and possibly profitable in the long term. Then yes, I would do it. I would try to do it. But if it's something that you feel like you have to do, I don't think anybody has to do it. I think it's super helpful. I think it's like, if you're like, I have to do it. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I have to, at this point, this is what I like doing and I have to do it and it's part of what I do. But have to meaning like I want to do it. So like I want to create this stuff at this point to a certain level. So I don't know. And a lot of people struggle with that because I think they don't want to do it. And some people don't want to do it and they start doing it and they realize they love it. Some people start doing it and realize they hate it. And I think your best bet is to,
Just do
the
it.
Gary Vee thing, self-awareness, know what you're good at, what your strengths are, and focus on your strengths, and just try to get by on your weaknesses. Arrive 2 minutes late for this lovely podcast because you stepped in dog poop like me earlier today. So, but I'm here. I just was a little bit late.
But Carrie,
So
how
is
did
it-
you? Yeah, I was gonna follow up on that just a hair, because like for me, I know when it comes to content creation, like there's almost like this scale, right? So at a certain point when you first start, obviously you're not making any money at it. Like you're just doing it.
Yep.
Like and you're like, it's kind of like if you just first started reselling, you're putting things in the chute and you're hoping you'll get some kind of result from it, and learning as you go. For you, like, how did you kind of get past that initial content creation versus now I'm actually doing something that's worthwhile? Like it's creating something, whether financial or, helping you kind of grow into the, being better at what you're doing. What was that like for you as far as like trying to get over that hurdle? Because I know for a lot of us, I remember, pushing to get to 1K subscribers myself on YouTube, and like you're like pushing, like I want to get there, I want to get the watch hours, I want to get there, and then you get there and you're like, yeah, this weren't really worth that all of that initially. So like, what was that journey like for you as far as content creation?
YouTube was a cool one. It was, looking back on it, because TikTok was way too easy. Like, I just got lucky. The algorithm found me, and I don't know why. It was not even on a video that's classically what I do. It was a nonsense musical video of me showing something that sold, but it worked. And once I was in that algorithm, and I really focused on what was working and what wasn't. But YouTube was a struggle, like a big struggle for me for the first chat, like my main channel. Because I think this time last year I might have been at like under 10,000, probably a few under, maybe 7, 8, 9,000. And I just hit 30,000 on the main account. And the growth happens fast like that. It's weird.
Yeah.
But like my card account, I started 4 months ago. It's at 5,000 something on my YouTube. So
Wow.
it's just, one thing I know is like for me personally, when I get super into something, there comes a moment where it's just going to happen because I focus on it. And I did TikToks every day for 18 straight months. I've done YouTube several times where I didn't miss a day for months and months and months. And it's just, I try to remember that, you know, the numbers are important and they do matter because you care about them, but really it's cliche, but like the journey of it is what you need to try to appreciate. Like, oh man, your first video that hits 1,000 views, your first video that hits, 5,000. If you're Kevin, your first video that hits 7 million people, none of which you care about, but you're excited that it hit. No, I'm just kidding. Kevin is if anybody doesn't know that Kevin's a wonderful person, he is a wonderful person, which is why we should razz him, keep him humble, keep him the way he is, because we don't want him to change. We don't want him to change. He's a sweet old man.
He's younger than me.
I know he's not even old, but I love you're not old either. But my point is, I love that we got people thinking he's old. It's brilliant.
It's crazy.
It's
like
brilliant.
people have met him before at yard sales. Like, I thought you were older.
Yeah, he's 40. He's 46. I mean, I'll be 40 this year. So he's only 7. I mean, Dawn, my girlfriend, is older than Kevin by like a couple months. So it's yeah, he's not old, but it is fun to make fun of him about it. And that was the thing. This is off topic, but like when we put him on the podcast, when I knew he would work was when we started making fun of him. Cause that's always like like Tim, you did really well with this. Everybody who's been on it has done really well. Like if you can joke around with us, it's going to be a fun podcast. But if I don't know, if you're raking profit and like you're kind of lame, it won't work. He's not listening at this point. We're 47 minutes in.
No, I think you're okay.
I don't
think he's watching.
He's not lame. He's a very nice guy. Lame in the sense of like, it's just kind of a boring podcast.
I see that when you have Josh on, that you brought a part of Josh out that I mean, I've known Josh for a while that I've never seen. I feel like you guys bring something out of Josh.
Yeah, no, Josh, he's like kind of become a big fan of the podcast. He's always, like commenting on it and everything. The way I look at it, and I always thought about it with like, because I was a major Kevin fan, like a fanboy for years. I was a big deal, and I'm like, this guy probably has people kiss his throne every day. Like people suck up to him. People try. Like I'm going to do the opposite. That's my, my psychological game is I'm going to just tease them and see. And I think when they're not like famous or anything, but when you're at that level in a community, they are very, well known within our community. I think treating them like one of the guys, I think is really like how we should treat everybody all the time anyway. But like, I just was like, we went at Josh to see how he would handle it, and he did really well.
Nice.
He's a pretty cool dude. I mean, he gets a lot of crap that he doesn't deserve, and some of it, and I'm not going to be specific on what, but some of it he definitely deserves. There's certain aspects of him, Harry Tornado, that are terrible, but there's other aspects that are wonderful.
All right, so the question everybody wants to know. All right, here you go.
Okay.
This is weird because I have to call him by his new name now, I guess. All right, is it ADDH Dave or is it just ADH Dave?
It's triple D. Triple D Dave.
So ADDH Dave.
No, it's ADHD Dave. You can just call him Dave. You know him. You don't have to call him ADHD Dave.
So, well, for the viewers, it's
That's true.
we're gonna clip this up probably. So
that's true. Sorry.
Question everybody has been waiting for is Kevin the Commonwealth Picker or Dave the ADH Dave?
I love them both. But Dave, I'm definitely, I think I'm closer to Dave, for sure. Me and Dave, from the very second we started talking, we're like best friends. Like there was like a connection there, honestly, from the second we started talking. I don't know if it's like we're pretty much, both 30, 38, 39, same stupid references from our, childhood, personality wise. He's a really, really good guy. He is, in spite of himself, because he's a curmudgeon and he's, I don't know, we got along really well. And me and Kevin get along really well too, and we're really good friends. But I don't know, me and Dave just clicked at a different level right away. And over time, I've gotten about the same as close to Kevin, honestly, over time. Kevin's kind of like an elderly, he's like a dirty grandpa, like Kevin. He's like my grandpa, even though he's only 6, 7 years older than me. He's like a grandpa that, you hang out with. He just drinks all the time. You guys know this. This guy is drinking all. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. He drinks a little bit. No, but I would go. I don't have a favorite. Oh, gosh, I'm closer to Dave. Is my answer.
Desert island. Stranded on a desert island.
Deserted island.
Oh, stranded on a desert island. That's a different question. Stranded on a desert island. Oh my gosh. Like, I think Kevin said it well. If I'm on there, we're dead. I mean, 100%. I'm completely and utterly useless. And when it comes, I can barely cook cereal. Like, it's difficult. I'm terrible at most everything in life. So Dave has the energy to get anything done, and he'll figure it out. Kevin probably would know how to figure stuff out quicker, but he's just frail, wispy. He's on the back. He's on the last couple holes of the back nine, and Dave's in the prime. So I'd probably go with Dave.
Nice.
No, I will say this. I actually got to hang out with Carrie outside of like reselling and being like on the trail when him and Don came to DC. And like, I always tell people that story because I was like, that's when I knew that Carrie was a real one. You know what I'm saying? Because like, we sat down, we ate dinner, and it was like, kind of like you could just talk, we could just bounce ideas and questions off of each other, and it was super dope. So I always tell people, like, if you want to like follow somebody who's like a real guy and somebody who's, knowledgeable and knows their stuff, that definitely shows Carrie some love, because I was a really dope conversation that we had that night, and it really put things into perspective for me as far as like content creating and stuff like that. Obviously, like, I have had to wait until my circumstances at home change before I can like buckle in and go for it. But I think it's super interesting. Now, my question is, does Instagram and Facebook stop paying people money?
Yeah. Facebook still pays on the Reels. They still pay for ads on Reels, which not everybody has. So I'm making a little on that, but they were doing bonuses, and me and Don were both doing really well with the bonuses on Facebook. And there were people in the community doing much better than us too. And it just went away. That's the thing that I hate about. That's why I focused more on YouTube was, at first, obviously it wasn't about making money, but at a certain point you're making money. So you want to, continue to. We did move from Utah to Vegas because of this opportunity and the fact that the content was helping and everything. So it was important to a certain degree. But they stopped paying. But everything changes with short form. They're trying so desperately to figure out how to monetize short form. And here's my biggest advice, which is like the exact opposite of what I said last year. Like, before people asked me, I would just like try to figure out how to make a really succinct, catchy video in 13 to 17 seconds. Now you could do that and you'll get followers. But now make over a minute vertical content, because on TikTok now they have a new fund called the Creativity Beta that will pay you per certain amount of views if they're over a minute. So the amount of money that we're making now on TikTok is increased a ton compared to even a couple months ago. But it has to be over a minute, which makes sense because it's a lot easier to serve ads or however they're trying to figure out the ad thing if you have a longer video. Having a 17, 13.
what's the like baseline to be able to make that money though? Like, don't you have to like
10,000 on TikTok. It's 10,000 followers.
So you have to have 10,000 followers, and
On
then you can start
Instagram,
making
it's
money?
nebulous. Like Instagram and Meta in general is kind of a mess when it comes to the back end of that. There's no clear rules or anything. It feels like so. Like I think there's a new thing on Instagram called broadcast, and Art of Resells was telling me he had it. But I think my account, I don't know, he has a massive account too, but my account's as big, if not bigger than his, and I don't have it. So it's just everything gets rolled out weirdly on Instagram and Facebook. When I started doing Facebook Reels over a year ago, I couldn't even do it. I had to sacrifice my personal Carrie account, Carrie Williams account. I had to go in some back way. Technological Kevin gave me a link to like a video, and then if you got in that video, you could click in the top corner and I could get in the back way to Reels so I could post, because there was nowhere on my computer or my phone to do it. And now they've changed over the last year and a half, but that whole system's broken. I wouldn't focus. The thing is, I would focus on, if you want to do short form, focus on 1 minute to 1.5 minute videos and put them everywhere. Put them on YouTube, put them on TikTok, put them on Instagram Reels, Facebook, even if those aren't paying much right now or at all. Put them, and if you really want to go hardcore, put them on Snapchat. You could put them on Pinterest, honestly. I mean, I don't know if anything will happen from that.
Do you have a business account on Pinterest or a personal account on Pinterest? How do you utilizing Pinterest?
I don't anymore. I hardly post to it.
I used to went through this like phase where I was like, because I knew that, I sell on Etsy. I noticed that a lot of traffic goes to Etsy through Pinterest. And then I tried it, but it was always weird to me because it was like, how do I post? Am I pinning? What am I pinning? How do they get, where's the link? It was just always very jumbled. So has that
I really don't
now?
I don't. Yeah, it's simplified in posting videos, but that's all I've ever done. I've never really maximized it for business. That's always been my thing. I'm pretty good at making the content and figuring out where to put it, but actually making any money on it beyond what they're willing to pay me for views, I've never been good at. That's not my strength. I've got to, Kevin probably would be better at figuring that kind of stuff out, but Kevin finds a way to make a nickel out of everything everywhere. He's really good at that, honestly. It's a gift he has.
Do you think there'll be time where Kevin starts selling pieces of the tree?
Oh, yeah. I think, look, if there's a monetary opportunity, as long as he has somebody to ship it and take the pictures and actually cut the piece of tree off, willing to work around him as he's napping throughout the day, I think as long as there's somebody willing to do his work, yes. The thing is, when he has to start doing it, when he doesn't have his, uncles and his dad, why is his dad doing anything? His dad should be living in the lap of luxury right now in a villa, some penthouse in Manhattan with Kevin's money. Kevin should be paying for that. We all know. Kevin is raking in so much money.
All right, last question for me. You were actually on a panel with Cernock and I talking about Whatnot, which feels like that was over a year ago now. How long ago was that?
Yeah.
Do you guys remember?
Yeah.
So you were, and that was probably almost a year after Cernock and I. I'm not sure when you actually joined Whatnot. Cernock and I got in. Well, Cernock was a little bit before me, but I think I was in August of 2021 was when I started. July or August of 2021 was when I started on Whatnot. So you were on that panel with us, and I know from watching you, you've kind of had some waves of feelings towards Whatnot.
Yeah,
where do you?
It's definitely gone up and down.
Where are you now on Whatnot, and what are your thoughts as far as how it's progressed from when you first started till now, and what do you think is the future of Whatnot? And I'm pretty sure that we're all in agreement on this right-hand side of my screen that eBay is never going to be able to compete with Whatnot in the field of Whatnot, what they do.
I'd
but
agree.
What are your thoughts as far as everything Whatnot?
It's a TikTok level opportunity for people. It's massive. Now, whether you can figure it out is one thing. Whether you can harness that capability and possibility is another thing. I don't think I even maximize it, not even close. But It's insane if you think about it. I mean, it's kind of like something I'd been wanting for years. I remember doing a live auction, in my store, 2012, 2013, 2014, wishing I could do it online, but like you had to use, I forgot all the different, like it was complicated. It was like you had to get a service and have to talk to somebody and pay them. And it was just like something I had to figure out. Like it was very much a pain in the butt to figure out, and I never did it. To now to just be able to start, get an account, it's fairly easy, I feel like, at this point to get an account and just start selling. Now, of course, it takes time to figure out, what to put on there, get people to actually buy. I think a lot of people have the issue with Whatnot that don't like Whatnot. They think it's eBay to some extent. Just like people that go on TikTok think it's YouTube and they start a video going, hey, I'm Tim from over the years, and like everybody's swiped, to the next dancing lady or whatever, because you can't compete with that. Like you have to get right into action. And the same thing with Whatnot is it's not eBay. It's a totally different thing. It's a social media platform, number one. And just like anybody, we all started with 0 subs wherever we have subs now. We all started with nobody, and we had to get out there and figure out how to build channels. And Whatnot's the same. You have to get out there and figure out how to build it. You can build it with no social media elsewhere. I've seen people do it. And it's like any other business. You may have to take a loss for a while, but if you have a vision on what you want to do, that I think anybody could be. And I know a lot of people are saying Whatnot's not for everybody and it only works for, people that have a following in the community. And I think that's nonsense. I think it could be, it's definitely harder if you don't have that. But I would never tell anybody that if they had the determination that they couldn't be wildly successful on Whatnot. You just have to have a vision. What do you want to do? Do you want to have the best t-shirt auction on Whatnot? Okay, well then you probably better start doing 3 t-shirt auctions a week, and you're probably not going to make a lot of money at first. But if you have that vision, you'll build it. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
It is one of those things. I mean, I know for me personally, Carrie is largely responsible for getting me on Whatnot. Yeah, early on, it was a lot tougher, and Stardock and Tim both tried, but they had basically closed the clothing category and said no. And I actually reached out to Carrie. He's like, hey, I'll just put you in as action figures. Just sell some action figures.
Exactly. And, just get in. That was the key back then, was just get in. And then once you're in, you can sell in any category.
Do whatever you want at that point. But then they kind of opened the floodgates for a while. I think now, even though the floodgates are still somewhat open as far as getting in as a seller, I think, it's almost like survival of the fittest in there. Like you're either gonna, you're gonna rise to the top or you're gonna leave. Like, I mean, that's kind of what happens. But I think you're absolutely right. Like you do have to get a mindset going in of like, hey, I've got to grind on it for a while. I guess just like everything else, when we talk about consistency, that's across the board, whether it's social media, whether it's reselling. Like you can't expect to list once a week and get sales every day. You can't expect to blow up on social media if you're not putting videos out, but like the third every other week, or
I think the biggest mistake people can make is underestimating Whatnot. I can understand people being hesitant, people being careful, people having, not being able to risk a lot because they're trying to make it, but I wouldn't underestimate it. And I would definitely, at the very least, if I was somebody who wasn't on Whatnot, is I would go ahead and use my $15 link. It's on all of my videos, or anybody's. I'm just playing, but like go on and shop, or go on and at least watch some live auctions, see what people are doing, see what people are being successful doing, because there's a lot of ways to do it. You don't have to necessarily do a straight auction. You could just be pulling stuff up and trying to sell it individually, and maybe a successful show is selling 5 action figures in an hour for $20 a piece and talking to people about toys for an hour. I don't know, but I take pride in being an auction guy for years, is try to make my auctions as fast as humanly possible. Tomorrow I'm trying something a little different. I've done a little bit of this within an auction, or actually it's today. Sorry, today. Today we're doing a 5-second sudden death auction for shirts only.
Nice.
So we're just doing, because I figured out that they have 5-second option, and it was fun. So I just got a bunch of shirts. I'm taking stuff that's been on eBay for a little while that's decent. some stuff that I picked
What time's your
particularly for this auction. And I'm going to Jesse's yesterday's Fitz place. He has a ton of shirts that are $20 that he's willing to put up so that we can make sure we have some cool vintage stuff as well. And we're just going to do 5 seconds. And then see if how many we can do in like an hour.
What do you start an auction at?
$2. $2. We'll see. I mean, I get excited about that stuff though, because I'm like, oh, if this works, that's something different. That's something new. That's something exciting. Because we did it within another auction and it was super successful. We were like, let's do some sudden deaths because Jesse wanted to end the auction. He had to go do something and we had a few things left. He's like, let's do sudden death. And I'm like, okay. And then I just saw, oh man, you could do 5 seconds. I'm like, let's do 5 seconds. And Don's like, don't do it. Don't do that. And then Jesse's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, man. And I'm like, okay, we're doing 5 seconds. And it was fun. I did it with some sports cards too, and it really, really worked well. So,
what are your thoughts?
it kind of gamifies Whatnot a little. So we're gonna mess around with that, and hopefully we can sell some mid shirts at decent enough prices. Hopefully, they don't overpay, but also we might be able to make, I don't know, $5-6 per shirt or something. That'd be ideal, but we'll see what happens.
What is your honest thought of Kevin's Whatnot sales?
He's too slow, but he's learning. I mean, like, my honest thoughts is he's going to be good at it because Kevin's good at anything he puts his mind to. It's just doing him once a month is going to make it hard to really get any kind of rhythm because he's not doing it enough. But I mean, that was the first one he did without like you guys basically doing it for him, or everybody coming in and helping.
Yeah, he had Joey there to kind of help him on the camera a little bit, but. Yeah,
and I mean, to be fair, when I'm doing my auctions, I could do it without Dawn, but Dawn's very vital for everything. I mean, she's organizing everything, shipping everything, and that helps a ton. But
they're not Tim or like one man banning it. We're juggling stuff.
Yo, do I tell you, like, cards is easy. But when Cernak and I were doing the shirt auctions in the very beginning, like literally when we would be the only vintage show on at that time, like we would make sure that, you could literally schedule your auction and make it so that there's nobody else live at that time. Dude, we were going, by the time I finished, I was like, oh, I am beat. Because you're talking the whole time, you're showing the shirts, and then it's like you got to go grab the next shirt and you're talking to people. I mean, it's legit crazy when you're by yourself.
It is exhausting when you're doing it in front of the camera. The card ones are a little more chill, first person POV kind of stuff. That's at least how I do it. But yeah, when you're in front of people, it's a performance. Like, I mean, a podcast, especially, at least how I look at it, a podcast is a little bit of a performance. I mean, you guys are a little bit more, I mean, we do educational stuff on Trash to Cash, but like you guys are a little more educational than we are. But my whole thought about anything is, why are people watching, and the only thing I can do is just be myself. And I found the more honest I am about certain aspects of myself, like the fact that I get fired, I've gotten fired a lot. And just, I think people like that. People dig it.
Yeah,
people like to get to know who you really are. Because like anybody who's watched Trash to Cash for years could be like, yeah, I could see why he gets fired from places at this point. he's a ditz or whatever he is. So I don't know how I got on that tangent. I just kind of transported to this moment, but sorry.
Hey, well, we're right at where we usually are. So just going to take a minute and thank all you guys for being here. I obviously want to thank American Arbitrage Carrie for joining us. We've had the privilege of meeting in person at the 127 last year. And so got to hang out, got to pick together a little bit. And so definitely appreciate you for taking the time to come on the show. Guys, if you have any questions for us, Reseller Information Network, make sure that you're dropping them in the video below. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram. Please leave comments and questions. We'd appreciate that. You can subscribe to us all 3 of those places. So we're going to go ahead and let Carrie share for a second about see you later. Thanks for being here. Check his links down below.
Thank you everybody for watching the podcast. I know it was probably boring, and I appreciate you guys hanging out here and chilling with us. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm Carrie, American Arbitrage. what's my spiel? I do YouTube, I do Instagram, I do all sorts of stuff, basically around reselling. And I started my card channel, which is American Arbitrage Cards. If you want to learn about reselling lower end sports cards on eBay, I go into depth about that. So I love doing it, and I'm super passionate about it. And if you are even a little bit interested, you might enjoy those videos.
There you go.
Awesome.
Now let's get his cousin up here, American Arbitrage Tools.
AA Tools.
I had to do it. We really appreciate it. I was very excited when I found out that you were coming in. I'm sorry that you stepped in a little brown mushy stuff on the way to the podcast.
It's literally like 3 minutes before the podcast. It sucked.
But they say that's good for your feet, so it might get rid of that hair on the top of your feet and stuff now. Where
it's true.
It's going to go away. So you might want to do it a little more often because you actually were very like.
It's a good point. That is a good point. I think I'm going to. I think you've convinced me.
But thank you very much. Thank you for
appreciate you, man.
We appreciate it. And Cernak, go to you, buddy.
All right, Carrie. Also, thank you so much for coming on. Hey, definitely go check out his TikToks. I love browsing TikToks. He has a lot of cool stuff on there. So definitely follow him on that, because again, I think with these like Carrie said, with TikTok right now, it's for the ADD, but like, look, you're getting the content you want. You see 5 seconds something you don't like, you just swipe up instead of having to hit back and go. So definitely follow him on there. And I forgot to ask you a question. Real quick, what's a better read? YouTube comments or TikTok comments on your video?
TikTok's much more entertaining. I love that I kind of got a following on TikTok first, because now I'm kind of impervious to any comment. Nothing bothers me at all. I either don't engage or I engage for fun, But thankfully, I don't get super annoyed by it. But I've heard the most terrible things about myself on TikTok that a lot of times you got to hand it to them for the creativity and just the sheer amount of confidence they have to even post it, So but TikTok can, when you get a viral video on TikTok, it goes to everybody, and you'll realize pretty quickly that our community is not liked by normal people very much for some reason. It makes no sense. So it really doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why they would. Honestly, I'm not even being joking. I don't get why people don't like it, but people don't like us guys out there.
Yeah.
Keep it a secret that you're a reseller.
Resellers versus the world.
That's what it feels like sometimes on TikTok, especially.
Yeah, on TikTok, reselling is a dirty word. So again, thank you so much for coming on. And so
you're welcome. Thank you guys.
All right, Tim.
All right. I'm in focus. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been another fantastic episode of Reseller Information Network. We want to thank you, the guests, the people, for all the lovely comments and questions. But most importantly, we want to thank Carrie, the American Arbitrage himself, for taking the time to join us. Leroy, Cernak, and Eric, that's the Obxpicker, Cernak's Connection, Blood, Sweat, and Sell, and myself, Tim, over the years. We want to thank you guys, as always, for the love and the support. And don't forget to tell a friend about RIN, Reseller Information Network.